Okay, better camera angle, not holding the camera this time. So hopefully better picture quality. I did the first video, and I knew I should probably refilm it, but at the same time, I didn't think I could do that again. Like it's actually kind of very difficult to talk about all that. I wanted to talk about something, you know, kind of somewhat unrelated, I guess. I was really angry today. And I know that's the hormones because I'm not pregnant anymore. And I was approaching the halfway mark in a pregnancy, so now my hormones are going nuts. Which would have happened to me if I had an abortion. They would have happened to me if I had had a miscarriage. They would have happened to me if I'd given birth. They have happened to me every time I've given birth. And usually I'll end up crying over stupid things like how cute and tiny the baby's feet look, or gee, don't you just love pineapples? They're so delicious. And this time I have things to cry about and things to be sad about. I also have things to be happy about. I called up my doctor's office, and I was talking with one of the ladies who works there, and I kind of mentioned, yeah, I hemorrhaged after my procedure and lost a little over 3 pints of blood. And they had to give me a transfusion, and it was a little bit messy and scared my husband. And it was a little dramatic. It was funny because they called the doctor back to come back and see me because I was hemorrhaging, and they had gotten the blood stop by the time she arrived back because she had, I was about to leave post-op, and she came back and she, kind of comes in. She's like, well, what happened? And we're like, oh, things got exciting for a while. Things got exciting. Things did definitely do that. It's not always a good thing to be exciting. We were all very much in agreement that we were done with the excitement for a while. And I was telling this to the lady at my doctor's office, my regular OB/GYN's office, and she was kind of like, if you need to talk, call me, because you've been through a lot. If you need to talk, call me or call anyone, but just call someone, And that's good advice. I remember how losing my first baby affected me, and it was a very bad time. It was very rough. And this pregnancy, now that it's over, I almost feel like I'm not allowed to talk about how I feel or about how it's affecting me because, before it was over, it was always about the baby. Like, I was really focused on what's the best decision for the baby? How do I protect the baby from these things that are happening to him? How do I achieve the care that I want for him? And that was very difficult. Like, it wasn't easy to get abortive services, and we had to kind of fight for it. And we had this time crunch, and so we didn't have time to think about anything. It was just like, go, schedule the appointment, next appointment, schedule that, make it happen. And it was only afterwards that I realized, now that he was gone, I could finally let myself be sad. And then I started hemorrhaging, and so then I didn't nearly die. They were very skillful at that hospital. Like, I was at a hospital at that point, and they did a great job. They really did. Like, they did a really fantastic job. And I was awake through most of it. Like, I was awake through all of it, actually. I didn't lose consciousness at any point, which is kind of unusual for that amount of blood loss. But no, I got to see everything they were doing, and I wasn't always aware of everything they were doing because I was surrounded by people who were working on me. But it was really beautiful to see, just all these people working so well and so effectively. And the thing that really made me happy was that somebody came and talked to my husband while I was hemorrhaging, so that, nothing, so that he wasn't alone when that was happening to me, because that could have been really bad. But I don't think I was dying. Well, in the very technical sense I was, but they got it under control really fast. And that's a good thing. They managed to save my reproductive organs. That's nice too. I might actually be able to have another baby someday. And I want that. I wanted that really bad before all this started, and I still want that. And I feel like I can't talk about myself because I feel like I feel like there are too many people who will think that what I did was selfish, and how I handled the situation was selfish. And at this point, it's like, well, how dare I talk about myself? How about how dare I talk about my own well-being? And I kind of feel that, and it's like, I still don't feel guilt. Like, I keep looking back at the situation from all these different angles again and again, especially looking at all these stories about, the kids who lived. And I have yet to feel regret. I have yet to feel guilt. Because when you're in the middle of a situation like that, it's not the same as looking at the hypothetical situation. It's not the same, especially when you've got the 20-week time crunch, and it's like, well, you can't have a procedure like this after 20 weeks. And it's like, okay, you have to travel farther and farther to receive care, and it's more and more expensive as you go, and you have to hurry, just rush. Don't think, just rush. Phone calls galore, like sticking the kids in front of the TV and making phone call after phone call, like, please, somebody help me. And now that it's all over, it's like, well, I'm doing okay, but I'm afraid that if I talk about myself, people will think I'm being selfish. I've been told I was selfish. I was told I was selfish even before the procedure. Like, after I got kicked out of Planned Parenthood, I was told that I was being selfish for wanting my husband to be present in the process of my son's death. Like, I didn't want him to, I realized that when there's a medical procedure, you can't necessarily have other people in the room. Like, when I was hemorrhaging, my husband knew that. He stepped out, like, right away. He was like, okay, I'm not going to help here. I'm just going to get in the way, so I'm going to clear out so they can, save my wife. It's like, that's very logical, but, he couldn't even come to the consultation, And when I had issues with that, all of a sudden I was being selfish. It's like, okay, well, I guess there's no winning in this situation. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? There is no winning here. There's no winning. You don't get to win. You have really shitty option A and really shitty option B, and no matter what you pick, it's gonna suck. And there is no winning. And I realized over the last several days that I'm genuinely emotionally weary. And that's probably not going to go away too quickly. I'm doing a lot better than I did when I lost my first baby. And that probably sounds horrible to the pro-life crowd who are like, oh, you cared then, why don't you care now? It's like, you don't get to see me breaking down in tears every other minute, but okay. You won't get to see me breaking down in tears every other minute. I'm not gonna film that. I'm not gonna post that for some sort of, what good does that do? It hurts no matter what. No matter who it happens to, it hurts. If you're a mom and you wanted a baby and you find out your baby is probably gonna die, it's hard, no matter who you are. Even if you're the bad mom who made the bad decision that nobody likes to talk about because it's associated with women who just weren't careful enough to stop it from happening. And that's another thing that I was angry about today. It's like, what happens when you do everything right? What happens when you get lots of exercise and you take all your vitamins and you eat healthy and you have a nice, secure family life and you have, you know, an extended family to take care of the kids if anything ever happens to you, and you do all the things right. You do all the things. You visit the doctor at every appointment and you do every little thing that you're supposed to do right, and you still end up here, then what? Nobody talks about that. And then I end up sitting here thinking, if I talk about myself and how I feel and all this, I'm afraid that people will think I'm just being selfish. And I feel this need to be very rational and very reasoned and very calm and very middle of the road, because, you know, how dare I talk about this? You know, it's not hashtag shout your abortion, because honestly, I'm not proud of what happened, but I'm not ashamed of what happened. What happened sucked. It would have sucked no matter what. I really don't think that people should feel ashamed of this. I don't think people should feel like they did something wrong under these circumstances. And I feel like I need to talk about this so that other people know that they shouldn't feel bad. And I feel like if I talk about this and mention myself, then I'm just coming off as selfish. I don't know. Anyway.